Hey guys, welcome back to Defeating Diabetes. It's Alexa, and I'm sorry I look like a complete disaster today. I have been fighting diabetes left and right, and it is winning right now. I've been having a lot of issues with Dexcom being like 30 to 40 points off all the time. And then this week I went, well, not even a whole week. I went a couple days on shots, like trying to get under control. And so that worked for a little bit, but then it was like crazy different, and like you can't turn shots off, and you don't know how much insulin you still have on board, and all that fun stuff that you like to know when you're on a pump. So I went back on my pump, and things seem to be going better, except for the fact that my sensor's way off, and I had it in my arm by accident because I forgot that that's a no-no spot. And I changed it to my stomach, and it hurts really bad. Well, it hurt really bad. And so I'm like calling my mom in California. I'm like, I don't know what to do. So she's like, oh, I wish I could call Dexcom, but like I don't know all the answers to all their questions. So being a mom, she did it anyway. And she was on Dexcom's phone call for like 50 minutes, she said. And the guy she was on the phone with told her that when sites are on very slender people, they tend to be off by like 30 or 40 points. And he said, like, well, I can see she's not manually calibrating, because they went into my account and everything. And she's like, well, I can see she's not manually calibrating because I was told not to do that. So he said, like, oh, she can calibrate like once a day. That's fine. And he said to pull the site that was hurting me and put on a new one. And he's sending me a new site for that and a new site to replace the one that I had on my arm, even though that was my mistake. He said it wasn't even on for a day, and like, we know that they're super hard to deal with, especially because you don't get that many. And he's like, so it's fine, like, we'll send you another one. So that was super great. It's very new knowledge to me, because I was told, like, don't calibrate your Dexcom, it'll calibrate itself, and da-da-da-da. So now I'm going to start doing that. Just like, I've been having such a hard time with diabetes lately. Last night was the first night I've slept a whole night through, and I don't even remember how long. And I was low all day yesterday, and then I went high. Well, not even that high. I was in like the 170s, and then I went low again, and it was just a mess, and I'm crazy busy and super exhausted all of the time right now. And I have like 2 midterms coming up, and I have all these Girl Scout obligations I need to be doing this week, and we had like our whole weekend was thrown into the vortex of mass chaos over here because we had like, we were going to Barstow to do car registration stuff, and then it was like, okay, we did that, and then next thing we knew, we had family coming this weekend to stay the night. And then we like had to wait around all day for when they would get here because we didn't know when they were coming, and we had to clean the house. And then we had to like meet up with family friends for lunch yesterday, and oh, it's been a disaster. And I think we're starting to get sick, which is just adding to mass chaos over here. I'm so glad that this is a 3-day weekend, because I would be so behind on everything if it wasn't. So yeah, I'm really like grungy today. Like, not even all the way here, honestly. I just worked on computer homework for like 3 hours straight, and computers and I don't get along anyway. So that wasn't my favorite thing to do for 3 hours, and I have to work on physics stuff, and I like haven't been getting super great grades on my labs, So I need to like work on getting better grades on those. Like they haven't been bad, but I got a 70 on one of them, so I have to pay more attention with those. And I have an exam coming up in physics next week, and I have to fit all this stuff in because my weekend is like shot. Friday I'm busy all day, and Saturday I'm busy all day. So I have Sunday to do stuff, but it's just like crazy, crazy, crazy. Which reminds me, I need to look at my homework actually and see some things on that in my agenda and whatnot. So I don't know. Do you guys ever have any like super big issues with Dexcom where you're like off 30 or 40 points? Did y'all know that if you're a slender person, your Dexcom's more likely to be off? I didn't know that. It's like my 5s worked great, my 4 worked great. I was even on the 7, which is like really awkward now. Like, what are they gonna call the next one? Are they gonna call it an 8? Or are they gonna like skip down again? Like, what are they gonna do with that? Because we've already had a 7. What happened to 1, 2, and 3? Like, where did those ones go? Anyway, but it's like ever since I've been on the 6, I had like weird issues. Like sometimes it'll be super right on, and then other times it would just be off. And I was like, I don't know. Everyone was talking about how they have amazing blood sugars and their G6 works so great and everything, and I'm just like, yeah, I mean, it works really well most of the time. Sometimes maybe if I'm lucky. And I'm like, why is mine off and everyone else's seems right? Well, apparently it's because my body weight. I'm on the lower end, so I don't get sites that work. So that's super cool. How many of you guys have ever like taken a break from your pump and gone on shots? I've been on my pump for this June will be 10 years, and I've never taken a break unless I've like had to. Let's see, I went off my pump this past Wednesday, and I went on it again Saturday night, so I didn't even make it very long without my pump on. The only other time I've gone on shots is my PDM broke on a Saturday. Of course, it was a Saturday, so then we had the weekend, and they couldn't do anything because it was the weekend. And it was wicking, so I left it on the site, but then the site expired. And I was on shots for I think like two days. Like full on shots, like Lantus shots and everything. Because, well, let's see, I didn't have a PDM for probably like 5 days. But 2 of the days I had my pod on, so I was just bolusing for food with shots. And then the pod failed because it ended. And then I had to start taking Lantus. And I think I took 2 Lantus shots before I got the PDM, finally came in the mail. And that was awful. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but I was never a fan of Lantus when I was on shots. And I'm still not a huge fan of it. It just burns really, really bad. When I was first diagnosed, my mom would give me my shots, and she would give me a quarter if I didn't cry. Every time I didn't cry, I got a quarter from Lantus, taking my Lantus shot without crying. And my dog knew, like, she just knew, because, you know, they're so smart. Whenever it was like time to take my Lantus, and she'd come over and she'd rest her head on the couch or the bed next to me, and I'd just hug onto her and cry, and she'd lick my face. She was a really big dog, so her tongue was like practically the size of my little kid face. But man, we've come an awful long way in 12 years, that's for sure. Since I was diagnosed, I can only imagine those of you who've been diagnosed longer, or even adults who have been diagnosed for like 30, 40, 50 years. Like, Jesus, you've literally seen it all. It's just so crazy. But anyway, so how are you guys doing with diabetes in winter? Anyone having some extreme issues out there? It's been a rough couple weeks over here for me, that's for sure. So hopefully now that we've talked to Dexcom and we know that I can calibrate, I'm back on my pump, I'm changing my basal rates and everything, hopefully things get better sooner rather than later. But of course now if I'm getting sick, God knows when it's all gonna come together. That is the crazy world that we as diabetics live in. So I hope you guys have a fantastic day off, or I hope you guys enjoyed the 3-day weekend. Happy blood sugars, and cross your fingers and toes that I start getting things more under control. Thanks, guys. Bye.